just blows my mind. Hold up, we're waiting for the daily deal.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the 64th episode of Slime Time Sidequest, an official Dragon's Den podcast. This is one of your hosts, Platty M3.
And this is Yangus, the legendary bandit.
All right, tonight we are back from an extended break, and we're talking about our favorite Steam games.
Not gonna lie, I thought it was a weird topic when you brought it up, but I'm down for anything. My favorite would have to be Tic-Tac-Toe.
Oh, well, we'll get into that after the intro. Wait a minute. Tic-Tac-Toe? Like, out of 100,000 games on Steam? That's your favorite?
100,000 is overstating it a little, don't you think? I mean, you can only draw so many patterns on the bathroom mirror before you start repeating yourself.
Wait, bathroom mirror?
Well, yeah, you know, close bathroom door, turn the shower on hot, you can get ready for some hardcore gaming.
Yangus, this podcast isn't about games you play with steamed mirrors.
Okay. My mistake. So what you're saying is that you're talking more about the games like Honey Pop.
I mean, not me, but I'm sure someone might bring that up.
Yeah, I could see that our guest tonight talking about that one. I think that would be one that y'all played. And maybe you did play it, who knows. But how many perverted, sexy, steamy games are there out there to discuss anyway? I don't know if I'm down for 4 hours of this.
Oh, okay, let me stop you right there, because I think you're mistaken again, Yangus. We're not necessarily talking about, like, sexy, steamy games. We're talking about the games you find on Steam. You know, the digital game delivery platform created by Valve?
By Valve? Bloody Valves are for water and turn that... Oh, yeah, you're talking about the PC Master Race episode. Oh,
yes,
talking about that
yes,
Valve.
We go. Yeah, I know the Valve can bring the hot water and create the steam, and it just all goes back into this intro could go on forever, but, this far into the intro, I'm just going to say you're close enough now. You got it. All right, so tonight we've got like a half-used six-pack of Slimeheimers together to talk about our Steam backlogs. It was going to be a more complete six-pack, but I think two people drank some, and they're now down and out for the count. But we're going to talk about some 99-cent diamonds in the rough to hundreds of full-price games that we've never even installed on our computers.
Yeah, now see, what actually happened was that the other three heard about we were talking about the Steam games, and they were like, let's go check out the Honey Pop games. So they're busy with that, actually. So that's why they're actually not here.
Yeah.
But anyway, you didn't hear that. Did you hear something play? I thought I heard a voice saying.
Didn't hear a thing. I turned my head and just, spaced out for a second.
Anyway, let's get back on track here. So that's right, Platty, and since that six-pack is half gone, that means your three side questers tonight are myself, Platty, and AustNerevar. We might have a virtual MattCraft sighting at the end. So if so, please pay attention to the post-credit scene. Now say hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yep, that's everyone. Thanks for being here, Aust. At least you still made it tonight. And before Yangus misconstrues again what we're doing here for this episode, let's just jump straight into the questions. We got a whole bunch. We're going to talk our Steam backlogs and just all the bad choices and good choices we've made throughout the years in doing so. And if you stick around after this episode or look in your podcast catcher, probably when you're listening to this, there may already be another episode because we've got other Slime Timers that wanted to join us that couldn't be here tonight. So we'll have a second episode of this drop just a couple days after. But Yangus, why don't you start us off with our first questions, I guess. I think I wrote question in the document, but we'll go kind of two at a time.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so first questions, plural. Do you recall how you got into buying games on Steam, and do you remember what your first game was? So, Aust, we got you first on the list here, so go ahead.
All right. Well, my first game was Skyrim. First game I ever played. Didn't play a video game before that.
It must have been a mind-blowing experience.
Yeah.
Aust is like 20 years old in college, He was 10 playing that.
No. Yeah, so that's definitely not the first PC game I played because I was big into PC gaming when I was a teen and stuff. But that was the first Steam game I owned. I bought it on PC, and it required Steam as like a DRM scheme. So and I was actually kind of ticked off when I found out because I bought this physical disc from Walmart, took it home, and it started installing Steam. And that was back in the days where, well, you still have to go into offline mode if you're not connected to internet with Steam, I think. But back in those days, like, it did not work very well. And I had to put it in offline mode while I was still online before leaving the house with my laptop if I wanted to play games. So I was so irritated. I hated it because that was the only way to play Skyrim on PC.
Mm-hmm. All right. I was a lot like Ost. So obviously Skyrim was your first one too. So it goes into your origin story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a lot like I was a lot like Ost.
Podcast. That's all I've got. I hate
That's
Steam.
it. We're done.
Over.
Cue the outro music.
Just for the rest of them. That's it.
That's it. That's the episode.
Quest complete. So much like Ost, I was mainly high school and college. I played a lot of PC games, and I was doing a lot of city building. I used to go to Target and kind of look for like what's your bottom basement ones. I never had any friends that played on PC, or everybody was playing. Is it the N64 when I was in college? Everybody had
which sorry to interrupt you real quick, but with this being episode 64, we missed the golden opportunity to talk about the Nintendo 64.
Oh, damn it!
I think I was the only one really excited for that episode, though. So
that would have been a good episode.
Mario Golf,
Harvest Moon 64, Kirby.
Oh man, time to pivot since nobody else is on.
Yep. All right, we're all right, everybody. This is the open up trick. We're actually talking about the N64 now. Let's go.
Nintendo.
Get in or get out. All right, but sorry, Platty, go on.
No, I never got the N64. I brought like my Super Nintendo to college, and everybody's playing GoldenEye on the N64, and I'm like playing Madden 94, and there it is, like 1998, because I just never got anyone. Or what else did I play a lot on college was the Seventh Saga. I don't know why I just played that game to death in college. Looking back, I probably would never load it up again, but that's what I had. That's what I did. But I was mainly PC gaming. I got the CD burner. I was borrowing people's discs if they had anything. Kids that I would tutor. I'd be tutoring middle schoolers in college, and they're like, "Hey, you want to copy this disc and play it?" I was like, "Awesome, kid, yeah." So, but also I'd be at Target. I got all the Heroes of Might and Magic series in like one pack for like $20, and Diablo, StarCraft back then too. But it wasn't until like 2009, I think it was, that I was playing Puzzle Quest a lot on my DS. Really enjoyed that, and being a Square Enix fan, I saw that Square Enix was doing a similar game to this, a Match 3, called Gyromancer, but it was only going to be on PC. So back then, my sister and I used to buy each other video games for Christmas. So I remember like sitting at my parents' house or opening gifts, and I was like, but every year I expected a video game from my sister and didn't get one. She's like, hey, check your email. And I get an email, and I'm like, oh, there's a code? What do I do with this code? It was as puzzling as the Gyromancer game itself. But yeah, had to install Steam, had to redeem the code, and damn, that game is pretty meh. Here we are, like 16 years later. I've played it for 4 hours, and I'm pretty sure those 4 hours were like 2 days in December of that year. So don't get Gyromancer, folks. Didn't like it. I had to rotate the 4 gems instead of swapping the positions like another Match 3, and I didn't get the rotation well. So, Yangus, what's your origin story?
Well, my origin story begins in 1992. We had to say Dickety because the Kaiser had stolen our word for 20. No.
We're really trying to pad this episode out since we are down.
Well, he set the opportunity up for the Simpsons joke I had to take.
Yeah.
So.
There you go. Fair enough.
All right, but no. Okay. So, admittedly, I don't fully remember when I first learned about like Steam, but I do, like when I was a little kid, I did play games on the computer every now and then, like stuff like Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2. And this one game called Lionel Train Town, and then I played a bunch of like the Humongous Entertainment games. So I kind of knew a little bit about PC gaming, but it was pretty limited to what I did play because of what few games that I had. But eventually, I know I maybe Ost will remember this one, but I know in like 2006 or 2007, maybe it was like more closer to 2009 or so, there was a collection of games that came out from Valve for like the PS3 and the Xbox 360 called the Orange Box Collection, where it had Half-Life 2, episodes 1 and 2, Portal, and Team Fortress 2 all in one package together that you could play on console. I don't remember the exact year. I know it was kind of around like 2008, 2009. Do you remember us?
I want to say 2007, but it could be 08.
Was it 7?
Wikipedia
okay.
confirms October 2007.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought
Windows,
I thought it was a little later in the.
But you were close.
Okay. Well, there we go. Yeah,
if you were playing on Mac OS, it was 2010.
Okay. But so about 2007 is when it came out, and I kind of knew about it. I didn't have the console to play it, but I had cousins that had like the Xbox 360, and we would play the collection at his place, and we would like just swap back and forth between playing games on TF2. Like we just fight random teams on there. That was fun. And then eventually, we started watching or seeing the trailers for like the different classes of that game that were online that advertised like, oh, if you want to play the game, you can play it on Steam. So it was probably around like the late 2000s where I started to hear about Steam and started kind of finding out more and more about it. But I would say what kind of led to it was the Orange Box Collection / what little PC gaming I did when I was younger. But as for like the first game that I played on it, I don't fully remember. I want to say it was Team Fortress 2 because at the time that I picked it up in college, it had become free to play at that point, so anybody could get it. And if you got it, then you could also like get like Half-Life 2 and some of those other ones from Valve for like dirt cheap. But I want to say it was either that was the first one I played, or it was because at the time it was really only exclusive to PC if you wanted to get like some of the updates and stuff. Since this was in one of the dark ages for Skullgirls, would have been that game. Might have been one of the other first ones that I played, because it was around the time that like the 2 DLC characters were first coming. Like the first 2 DLC characters were coming out, and the second one was just about done. So probably one of those 2 is the first one I played. I would guess it was probably TF2 though, because that was one of the main reasons I decided to install Steam on my laptop that I had for college.
All right. Those are our 3 origin stories. Now, all these years later, how many games have you piled into your Steam account? And how often do you game on PC? And I guess we're going to circle around and start with you.
Yeah. Let's see. I would say I probably had 70. If I get really thinking about it, it was probably close to 100. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've looked on my account. I really don't remember what my login info is for it anyway. So it's been a long time. But I would say like in the ballpark, it was probably 70 to 100. I had a decent amount, some that just came from bundles, some of them that were like, the expansions that get listed with the 2. They've probably changed how that's all formatted by this point. I don't know. But I'd say I had a pretty decent sized collection of stuff that I bought either for like dirt cheap or ones that were a new release that I actually genuinely was excited for, which one of them I'll talk about a little bit later. But how often nowadays, I really don't do any gaming on the computer or my laptop or anything. It's not that I don't want to, it's just I kind of have a weird history with computers, so I really don't like to use them that much unless I have to for like work or something. So I really don't use computers that much. But back when I was in college, though, I used my laptop pretty much every day, and in the evenings I would probably play like 30 minutes to several hours, depending on what I was playing and what I kind of got into, or if I just needed a quick little study break, play a few matches of TF2 and then call it good, go back on. But I was primarily playing games on the 3DS at the time, so there were so many RPGs and games and stuff that, like, you had Smash Brothers, Shin Megami Tensei 4, the Etrian Odyssey games, like all that good stuff. But definitely busy with that. But I did play a fair amount when I was in college and I was actively using my laptop all the time.
Fair enough. All right, here's the big number before we get to my not even close to that number. Aust, tell us about your Steam backlog.
Next question, please.
No.
And then, hey, you're the one who gave us the link that we could get the approximate value of our Steam thing. If you want to throw that in, this would be a great time to do that too.
How to get disappointed in yourself or something?
Yes, yeah. Wasn't that the link? It's like, here, get ready for disappointment.
So it's weird because there's two different places. One number says, the one I shared, 596. But then when I go to my profile and look on the side under games, it says 608. So I don't know which one is right.
Somewhere in between.
Well, just start counting through them alphabetically and we'll keep track for you.
You know what? I bet it's because I'm logged in here. I probably have some of these hidden. Anyway.
It's a Steamy game.
Yeah, so I don't think my number is that abnormal amongst PC gamers, just because you acquire a lot through sales and humble bundles and stuff. That's where I got most of mine, and like with humble bundles, you're paying like $5 for sometimes 5 to 10 games.
Yeah.
But usually you're doing it just for one game that you want in the bundle. That's worth, that it alone is worth that price. But yeah, how often? Well, nowadays I don't really get the game as much as I used to. When I do, it's almost always on PC. I'll play couch co-op games on the Xbox with my son, but when I play games for myself, it's almost always on PC. And gosh, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I would have said exclusively on PC, except for the 3DS, because those are the only gaming devices I had at my disposal. Mm-hmm. But now I've got a lot. I've got my gaming PC. You've got the Steam Deck. There's tons of different ways to play on Steam now.
Mm-hmm. Didn't you even have before the Steam Deck came out? Didn't you have a gaming PC handheld?
Yes. I was all in on handheld PCs before the deck came out, because I'd been watching that space for years, back before it was really like they were making them and they were like $1,000 and you could barely run like Stardew Valley on those. But they kept getting better and better, and I bought one before the deck even was announced, and I played on that for a while. And then now the Steam Deck is like, it could. I think the ROG Ally is technically the better one now, but the deck is like probably the best one for your money.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's the lower one's even comparable with the Switch 2 at this point, right?
Yeah,
I want to say they're in that neighborhood. They're close to that price. All right. Well, moving on down to me. I've double checked this number. I don't have any ambiguity here with Aust. I've got a total of 22 games on Steam. 22 total.
Gosh, man, how you ever get time for all those?
I know. And let me tell you, I got them all on a list here, and I went through the top 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of my top 13 most played. Throw out that stupid Gyromancer. For me, the other 12 were all because of stuff that I've reviewed for RP Gamer, or a couple times I bought a couple other Z-Boyd games, Cthulhu Saves the World and Breath of Death 7, to talk about on a Z-Boyd podcast that I did over on RP Gamer. So 12 of my top 13 games, pretty much anything that I've played longer than 1 hour. I can put the cutoff right there. Anything I've played longer than 1 hour, other than that Gyromancer, is because of my time with RP Gamer. So I really don't play on my PC a lot. I did buy myself a gaming PC last year. Aust, you kind of helped with that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like it was about a year ago now. It was like late July last year. And what have I done with it? I've basically put 140 hours into Dragon Quest X offline, emulating the Switch version from it. And if I add up all my Steam games, I was trying to see if I've even played 140 hours on Steam. I don't believe I have. Like the top 10 games were under 100 hours, and I don't think the other ones even add up to another 30 or 40. So I've emulated more on Dragon Quest X offline than I have played Steam. But I'll talk later, because I think that's going to change soon. So, Yangus, hit us with our next questions.
All right. Well, we definitely are all over the place with our library sizes and playtimes. So, with that in mind, roughly what percentage of the games do you think you've played more than, like, let's say half an hour? And what's your most played game on Steam? Ost, we'll start with you.
Yeah, the Steam DB calculator says I have 65% played. I know that's not accurate because I don't know if you guys know about Steam trading cards, where like some games when you play them they'll drop little card, and then you can like sell them for money to go in your Steam wallet to buy more games with. And I've farmed a bunch of games doing that before, so I really don't have a good way to tell. I'm gonna guess it's probably somewhere between 30-45%. But as far as played the most, it would be the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind without contest. And it's really not even fair to count that because that's like multiple playthroughs over the past 13 years, however long I've used Steam. And it's an obscene number, so it shouldn't count because nothing can compete with that. The more realistic one is probably Sid Meier's Civ 5. I put several hundred hours into that. I have not played it a very long time because after 6 came out, I sort of stopped playing the Civ series. There's like, when I'm looking at my played games, they're all sorted by playtime, and like there's several of here that are like in the 300 or 400 hour ranks, and it's like it's I don't want to miss one. Like Stardew Valley deserves to be mentioned.
Mm-hmm. No,
Halo.
Halo, it's just us 3. We got time.
And you know they do that Steam replay every year, and they tell you like which game you played the most.
Yep.
Almost consistently for the past 4 years, however long they've been doing that, it's been RetroArch. Because they released RetroArch on Steam, and it has cloud saves, so that's the reason to use that on Steam. But yeah, I got a lot of hours in Stellaris and Halo and Dragon Quest 11.
Oh yeah, is that the S version or the original?
That is the vanilla. I did not put much time into S on PC. I did that on Switch, and then didn't really replay it on PC. But vanilla, when that came out, it came out on PC, and that's how I played it the first time. Got all 58 achievements.
There you go.
Nice. All right, so mine was pretty easy to calculate. 22 games, and 11 of them I basically put an hour or more in. So the other ones either had 0 or like 2 or 3 minutes. I probably loaded it up, was like, nope. So I'm like almost at exactly 50%. There might have been one more than that, but 50% I've played somewhat. And my most played was actually a game called Infinite Adventures. And Yangus, I think I've talked to you about this one before. It was one of the first 3 games I reviewed for RP Gamer, the first fall that I joined in 2018. And basically, Infinite Adventures it's indie Etrian Odyssey. It's a
I remember this one. Yep.
And I actually really liked it. I probably gave it a 3.5 or a 4 out of 5. I put like almost 50 hours, something like that, into it, or maybe 37, or whatever my thing tells me, 37.6. But it was released in October of 2018. It's from a company called Storm Seeker Games. I remember getting the press kit back then, and they were a small indie company out of Charleston, South Carolina, and clicking on their Steam page, they never did anything else. So they were one and done, but I know this has been ported to Switch and a couple other things too, but I liked it. I mean, geez, even by 2019 was our last Etrian Odyssey Nexus, so I played this right before Access.
Not recounting those remasters either.
Yeah, the remasters, yeah. Our last new one, should I say then. So that's it. Like I said, almost all my games are played for review, and that was my longest one. All right. What do you think about your numbers, Yangus?
Well, I have at least this many.
I can see your fingers.
Did you guys get that? Okay, good. Anyway, my most played game from Steam was definitely Team Fortress 2, with having about 200 hours of playtime total. Probably even more than that, actually. Probably like 220 or something like that. This is one that just kept adding on time. To once a friend of mine, he gifted me a full release key for the game since so I wasn't stuck with the free to play limitations. It's one that I just kept coming back to because I like trying to do different classes, or like I knew I was not going to get all the achievements because this game has like freaking 900 plus achievements probably by this point. And even when I was playing it, it was like at 682 or something like that. It's some nutty number. Because this was also before they had like the big man versus machine update and some of the other ones that they started doing, which I gotta say too, like it's amazing that for as old as this game is, that it still has like it stood the test of time so well. Like Team Fortress 2 is still a pretty active game from my understanding, which I'm sure it being free to play helps, but with it being like, you know, like one of the first instances of like a team based shooter where you have like different classes that can do different stuff, it's kind of cool. This game has, you know, stood the test of time so well. But yeah, I definitely played a ton of Team Fortress 2 compared to most everything else in my library. I think the only things that would probably get closer to it would maybe be some of the fighting games that I kind of messed with a little bit. But yeah, definitely Team Fortress 2. In particular, playing with stuff like the sniper and some of my favorite classes, I got a ton of time out of that one. I don't really know, like rough. Let's see, like what percentage games do you think you've played? Gosh, you know, like joking aside from my first post, I don't really know. I think I probably, like, if I did, let's say, have had 100 games, probably about 20% of them. And some of them were just like trying to play it, and then it's like, oh, can't play that on my laptop. Never mind. But yeah, I know I tried to play most of them, but there were a few that, you know, you get in the bundles, or like, I'm sure Austin can relate to this with having as many as you do, where it's like you get some and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot I had this on here. Anyway, moving on.
Oh God, yes. I'll buy games on sale that I've been waiting to go on for a while, and then just get distracted. It's like, why do I even buy this stuff? And
Yeah,
because like it'll be so cheap, and it's something I genuinely want to set aside time to play, but I just don't have time for it.
Yep.
Oh, I've got a stack of digital Switch games and a stack of physical ones. Actually, the other day was pulling out stuff, setting up my new den some more, and pulled out, I forgot I bought the Atelier Sophie Furious DX collection, and I've got both Trails of Daybreaks that are out so far, and I ended up with Lunar remake, or the remastered, I guess, here, and Suikoden, and I'm like, oh geez, I forgot I bought all that at the beginning of the summer, and I'm just going for 140 hours on Dragon Quest X, and pushing 100, try to get there on Fantasy Life I, and got a whole stack of those, let alone PC. So I get it. We all got our backlogs in different places, and damn sales always convince us to buy more.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, goes right into our next set of questions. All right, for most played, let's go the opposite direction, to the dusty corners of your Steam library. What do you think are the most oddball or most off-brand, you know, for yourself in your gaming history, that games that you would find in your library? I guess I'll start off with this one. I think one of the oddest ones that I reviewed, and I don't even know why I raised my hand and did this, but it was called Swag and Sorcery. It's a pixel kind of mobile idle game, and just waiting around for stuff to happen. You know, a good game for if you got two monitors and you're typing something and like, oh, my little pixel guy came back. Click, click, send him off again. Do something else. I think I wrote an impression on that because there really was no end game. It just went on forever. So that's one. Really quickly, I was like, oh, God, why'd I say yes, I'd review or write about this? I probably spent more time writing about it than actually playing it. And off-brand, I was looking at, and I think I remember where I got this, but I got Rise of Nations Extended Edition. Pretty much all of the other 21 games on my list are all first-person or solo RPGs or JRPGs, and then I've got Rise of Nations on there. So, okay. Yangus, you got any odd ones or off-brand ones?
Well, so for an odd one, there's one that I played. Oh man, it was this bizarre game. It was called Tales of the Gibbon. It was one that you had to play as a monkey. It was like one of those early, like,
I was gonna say, was it like the monkey gibbon? Yeah.
Yeah. It was supposed to be like one of those, like, it's kind of like, what's that game? It's like Octodad, where you controlled each of the limbs with the different buttons and stuff.
I love that game.
Trying to crawl around through the forest and stuff, and what was it? Some crazy plot where you had to like get to the temple to save your family because there was like this crazy hunter that captured them or something. And I'm totally lying. This is not a game at all.
Beyond the Trees.
Yeah, that's the sequel. That's the real sequel.
Okay.
Not the but no. I couldn't really think of an odd one, but I do have one that was kind of an off-brand one. I don't remember the name of the game, unfortunately, because this was like early on when I picked it up. It was one of those like free-to-play games. I guess the best way I would describe it, it was like a take on RuneScape, but it was isometric, and you played as like a little wizard dude. Because I remember like seeing that, I'm like, oh, it's a little wizard game, it might be interesting or something. I loaded in, and I was immediately overwhelmed because like the plaza I loaded in on had like 100 other players or so. Everybody's walking around like all their little bubbles are popping up in front of each other. And I just remember looking at the screen and being like, what are we doing? I don't remember what it was called, though. I'd have to actually log on to Steam to find out. But I just remember it being something that I tried for like maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and I just was immediately like, I'm not playing this anymore. It's really overwhelming. And even the tutorial didn't really make much sense either, because it's like you have to, because the reason I compare it to RuneScape was because it's like, you can collect this. When you play the real game, you'll have to wait several minutes before you can actually collect it, which I know with RuneScape, it's a lot of grinding out stuff. So that's about the closest comparison that I can make to it. But I will admit, though, I remember it having a kind of a neat little pixel art style where like you had your little wizard and they kind of had like the Final Fantasy Black Mage thing going on, where like they had their hoods pulled up over their heads and like they had different colored little eyeballs. So you'd have like red or purple or blue, different colored robe to match. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
and
I don't know how we would find that game.
Yeah, I'd have to. I would have to look it up on. It was one of those free to play. It might not even be on there anymore. Honest, I have no idea. But if I do happen to log on to Steam at some point, I'll try and look it up and let you guys know. And then Ost will get addicted to it, and he'll tell our friend Twinkie that, dude, this is the RuneScape game to play. What are you playing that actual one for?
I've tried RuneScape. Couldn't get into it. I'm sure this would be easier.
I think anything would be at this point.
Yeah, so are you go next? Oh wait, no, that was okay.
I already went. It's up to it. We're up to you.
The doc is confusing. There's so many people who are in.
You want
Everybody who dropped out. Thanks a lot for filling this out and then not.
Yeah,
coming.
you know what? Let's just start filling in the. You know what? I should have just taken one of the people that's not here tonight and just been like, "Yeah, this is my."
Yeah, just BS. Like,
well,
this is Berurian's favorite. This is what Berurian thinks about this game.
Now, are you trying to say that me talking about Adventure of the Gibbon or Journey of the Gibbon, that wasn't a real game? That's a very real product. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, but okay. Sorry, Oz. Go ahead and go.
That's fine. Yeah, I had problems finding something for an oddball game because there's so many like random things that would fit that category. But the only thing that stuck in my mind was one called Rocket Bird's Hard Boiled Chicken.
Hell yeah.
Have you heard of it?
Oh, hell no.
Okay. Just like the name. So, yeah, it's a 2D side-scrolling action game. It's been probably 12 years, since I played it. I think it came in a Humble Bundle with something else. And I remember thinking, it's like one of those games that I bought the bundle for something else, like I said before. And it was one of those games where I just was not going to play, and I can't remember why I did play it. And then I got a buddy of mine to play it with me because it turned out it had local co-op, like split screen co-op. And back then, PC games didn't have that very much. They still don't, but they started doing more of that recently. And I was all about that because I couldn't afford like an Xbox One or PlayStation 4 or the Wii U or any of that. I was just gaming on my laptop, so to be able to hook up a couple of controllers and play split screen on my laptop was cool. And this game actually turned out to be pretty fun. which is weird because like I never heard about it anywhere. And I feel like there's a lot of games on Steam like that. That's just like, I've never heard of this game. Has anybody played this before? And I'm pretty sure my friend and I are the only ones who played this game because, like I said, I haven't heard about it anywhere. But yeah, you play as like these chickens, and I don't remember a lot of the details. But like you're dropping down into a war zone, and you have to sneak through like an occupied building, and like I said, it's 2D side scrolling action. You've got like a gun. It's kind of charming. That's all I have to say about it. But as far as off-brand, probably Phasmophobia would have to be the best fit for that, because I don't play horror games, and this is a VR horror game where you have to go into a house that's haunted and like exorcise the spirit that's there. And some online friends of mine talked me into playing it with them because it's co-op and you can play online in VR. So I played it, and it wasn't scary. I don't like horror games, but I think that's just the remnants of my childhood of being scared of everything. And now, like, whenever I check out a horror game, it's like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it would be. But VR, everything in VR is a horror game, really, because it's so real. It's like oh my god, Skyrim VR. I don't want to. I just have to mention this. It's like, the giant spiders in Skyrim. I don't know if either of y'all have played it, but imagine a giant. Yeah, it like when everything's in perspective and it's like proportionate. Those spiders like come up to your chin, and seeing one of those, like they run like as fast as a horse. So when they charge across the map at you, it's like, holy crap, that's terrifying, genuinely terrifying. But yeah, this I played it 2.5 hours. Phasmophobia. Played it 2.5 hours. That one night I played it with those friends was the only time. I would say that's off brand for me, but I do have several more horror games in my library for some reason. Just I don't know how they got there, like many other things.
Horror officer, I don't know how those got there.
I don't know.
Alrighty, what are we up to next, Yangus?
Let's see. So sticking with the dusty corners of our libraries, do you have any games you have no memory of getting? And do you have any games you just don't know, or games you just know you'll never play? Well, I can answer the second one. It's probably going to be most of them, since I haven't used Steam in like 10 years. That was an easy one. For the first one, let's see. Any games you remember of getting? What was one? I do remember one that popped up that I don't remember buying. It must have been in some bundle that I bought. I didn't even realize it was part of it. It was, I want to say it was like a little SNK bundle that I had bought, because kind of at the time, this is when they were first teaming up with, I forget what they're called. It's like, not Hamster. It's the one that has done a lot of their other like re-releases onto consoles too. But anyway, it was when they were starting to team up with them. And it must have been another project that company that teamed up with SNK to make these ports had put in with it. But it was some like random looking arcade game, and I just remember looking. I don't remember what the name of it was. I'd have to actually go on Steam to find out. But I just remember looking at this on my library, and I'm like, I remember buying this. What the hell is this? And looking at it, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this definitely doesn't look like something I'm going to play. Anyway, moving on. It definitely didn't leave an impact because I don't remember the name of it either. So, but
a common theme.
Yeah.
Ost will go into your long list. You can tell us as many or as few as you want here. Here, what the fuck? And I'm never going to play that kind of game.
So yeah, the question was, how did this game get here? Games that we don't know how got in our library.
Yep.
So I went through my list and compiled I went through my entire library and compiled a short list. So it's The Amazing American Circus, Fury Unleashed, Tooth and Tail, Wizard of Legend, Dagon, Never Out, Ripple Effect, Amnesia of Machine for Pigs, Amnesia Rebirth, Amnesia The Dark Descent, Besiege, Book of Demons, Carrion Fields, Corridor Z, Damned, DC Universe Online, DMC Devil May Cry, Draw Slasher, Driftland, The Magic Revival, Expeditions Viking, Final Fantasy IV 3D Remake, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy 13, Glory of Victus, Go Home, Dinosaurs, Go Under, Hammerwatch, Eldorado, Hero Siege, Hexalogic, Night Shift, The Long Dark, Lost Ark, Moon Hunters, Mother Russia Bleach, Necroworm, Nex Machina, Orbital Racer, Out of Reach, Treasure Royale, PQ Niku, Pop-Up Dungeon, Post Void, Quantum Break, Radio Commander, Ring of Pain, Roar, Jurassic Edition, Rogue Stormers, Wrestler, Satisfactory, Say No More, Shadow Puppeteer, Starforge, Superland, Treasure Hunter Simulator, the USB Stick, Find the Grass, Warsaw Rising, City of Heroes, West of Dead, X-Morph Defense, Yoko's Island Express, Delta V, Rings of Saturn.
Okay,
I
maybe
almost
those
got through the
Amnesia
whole thing
games are
without-
the ones that
Yeah, are those
affected all the rest.
are those the horror games?
Yeah, that was one of like the first big viral horror games where like PewDiePie and them were playing.
Okay, yeah, I don't know how I got those. Yeah, so
what was
for real, all of these probably came in a bundle or something.
what's the one? One of them you said was just had such a funny title. Is that one?
Piku Niku?
Is the
Well,
is
I
the,
liked
that
I
one?
liked Amnesia, a machine for pigs myself.
That's
That was good.
And like, there's a bunch of other games in here that I've never played and never intend to play. But those are the ones that I don't know how I got. Like, there are plenty
Oh,
of
here
them
it
in
is. It's
here.
Go Home Dinosaurs. That's the one that made me laugh. Go home, dinosaurs. We don't want you here. Sorry, House. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now I want to look up what kind of game that is, just so I'm curious. Tower Defense. Tower Defense game.
Tower defense.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, like these are. I've got plenty of games that I don't intend to play and that I've never played, but I remember buying them. I remember why I got them. These I don't even. That had to be a bundle, but I don't know. I don't remember what it was. Games that I am definitely never going to play. Probably Wallpaper Engine because it doesn't work on Linux. But that's not a video game, so that's probably not a fair answer. I'm definitely never going to play Final Fantasy 13 at the very least. I'm not a Final Fantasy fan. And that one and that one looks way too modern for me to even try. I'm willing to play like some of the more retro looking ones. And I've played a little FF7, like the original FF7.
Yes.
But yeah, like the FF13, I never say never, but probably never.
Just play 4. That's all you need.
The 3D remake.
Got the 3D remake version though.
Yeah, no, it's a good version.
Oh, I mean, I played it on the DS back in the day. I had no qualms with it.
Yep. It's just hard as hell, so just be prepared for that.
Oh, I don't have time for that these days.
Yep. Get the pixel remaster and just turn on all those boosts, quadruple your EXP and all that stuff. So
Is it
looking
the
at
Dark
mine,
Souls of Final Fantasy?
What?
Is it the Dark Souls of Final Fantasy?
I mean, I wouldn't make that joke for it, but it is like genuinely like all joking aside, it is actually a pretty hard remake because they definitely put it in mind with like people who are going to play it are probably people who are already fans of the game, so they did a lot of remixing of how certain bosses work and such. But you do have the ability system that appears in that game where you can get the skills and actually unlock a bunch of new ones too from characters that come and go from your party that then you can equip onto people. And what was it, like the team that worked on that remake and the one of Final Fantasy 3 like a few years before, they're the ones that went on to make the Bravely Default games. So it's kind of like the precursor to it with how their job class systems work.
I'm pretty sure the reason I even have these is because Final Fantasy started popping up on Steam like around 2014, 2015, and I had just gotten into Dragon Quest like 2 years before. And so like to see JRPGs on PC was a big deal.
Oh, fair enough. You enjoy Dragon Quest, you know Square Enix, you see that, and boom. All right,
Yeah.
I obviously don't have much here since I've got all of 22 to play with, but I got one called Transcendence Legacy Void Swept. I've got no idea where this came from. The only thing I can think of is, because looking at it, it's an 8-bit. Looks like it was made on some RPG Maker system. But yeah, I've got absolutely, especially since it released, just like 3 years ago. Like, why would I have bought this 3 years ago?
Oh yeah, that's RPG Maker.
Yep. But I've got absolutely no idea where that came from. Things that I'm never going to play though. I'll probably never get around to playing that. I've got another one, an RPG Maker one called the Eno Chronicles Ascension. And this one, Yangus, back when you and I had our turn-based RPG group on Facebook. I remember the creator of this one, like totally unprompted, just like messaged me like, "Here's a free code for my game. You want to play it?" I was like, "Oh," and I don't. According to Steam, I've put 3 minutes into it, so.
He's listening right now.
And you messaged him back and said, "I don't take bribes, lol."
Yeah,
You know that that must have been
Mr.
delisted because
Promethean.
I'm not finding it on the store.
You know what? It must have been because I mean I can pull up the store page. It's no longer available on the Steam store. I clicked on the developer and the developer's gone too. So
Well, now you have to play it because no one else can.
It's true, yeah.
nobody else can. It's got mixed reviews from its 14 reviews ever in the past.
Oh,
7 or 8 years now, so it's getting about 2 a year.
Okay, well you have to offset it and write a glowing review and say like, all the haters are wrong. It's a 10 out of 10. Bring the dev back.
no, but that's not good. Mixed reviews amongst 14. That's like his family and friends.
Or people like me that he just sent the code out to.
Yeah, he's trying to bribe them to do.
Yep. Even the bribe did not work on 43% of those people didn't like it. Probably like, 6 out of the 14 didn't like it. I got a couple other games like Hyperdimension Neptunia U, Action Unleashed. And,
your
Trails in
favorite
the
series.
Hey, you know what? Out of the whole series, that's the only game I've ever beat. But I beat it on Vita, so I'll never touch this again. And podcast, I think somebody sent me the code, and I'm like, I'd rather spend the $2 than I think it was on Vita.
Wait, what's wrong with that series? I've never played it, but I was considering it once.
Oh, Hyperdimension Neptunia. So it's budget. It is definitely budget. They swing big. You know, they look like they're a AA studio, and I don't know if the games actually reach that quality. I tried the remakes of 1, 2, and 3, Hyperdimension 1, 2, 3. Never got far. It just seems like the games keep adding systems. You're like, this is not, it's not a big budget game. This is not a great game to begin with. And then they throw another system at you, and then another system, and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't even learn the last system, and it's not good anyway. Why are you throwing so many systems? I tried to review, what is it? Is it 7? No, it's VII. It's like 5-2. Hyperdimension 5 Take 2. I got 10 hours into it on Switch, and it was, I couldn't get any farther. I'm like, I'm done. It just added some whole nother different type of battle mechanic into the thing, and I'm like, wow, no, I'm done. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's all, what is it? All the girls are based on consoles.
Yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to try it. That's the only reason.
I will say the meta humor is pretty good. There was a side-scrolling RPG, and I think I even called it. I think it was Neptunia RPG that was developed not in Japan by because these are all Idea Factory Compile Heart games. But they had one that was done. They licensed out to a studio in Canada, and I actually got through that one for review, and it was horrible. I was like, oh my god, this is so bad. You know, like the voice acting was good. I found the humor good. Just the entire game was so budget. It was unreal. Like every monster on the overworld was represented by the same thing. Like imagine going around playing a Dragon Quest game where you can see the monsters, but literally all you see is slimes. But sometimes when you run into a slime, it's just a golem. And sometimes when you run into a slime, it's, you know, a freaking metal king slime. Like it's, there was no visual anything. They modeled one monster, literally. And actually it's their slime version. They got these things, what are they? They're dogus. They look like slimes with ears and have a tail. That's the other thing. They rip off all their monsters from other game series. They do a lot of the Pac-Man monsters are just ghosts in there, and you know, just with little ears and tails or whatever, legally distinct from other games, which fits because I mean, all the girls are supposed to be in consoles, and I think they live in like. It's funny to read the game descriptions of some of them because they'll say, "Oh, this is a side story. It's not part of the main canon," and you're like, "Are you kidding me? The series has freaking canon."
The canon.
Yeah, but I swear, like every game I've ever tried of this says this is a side game in another dimension.
Okay,
and like
it's
usually,
probably just a running gag then.
That's what my guess is. Like I said, I haven't played nearly all of them. This is the only one I actually got through. I got through it for a podcast. One time we were doing a Bad Idea Factory podcast, and this one is their Hyperdimension Neptunia U Action Unleashed is a Muso game, and I mean it was 8 hours long to just blaze through the thing. So I actually beat that. But that one and Trails in the Sky 3, I emulated Trails in the Sky 3 on my Vita, but I love Falcom so much. I was like, I gotta buy it at least for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll never go back and beat them. I beat them on another console, so
Yeah.
no need.
I have one of those on GOG. I think it's
One of the Trails in the Sky.
Yeah, Trails in the Sky.
Yeah, they're good games.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to play it.
That first one is coming out. I don't know if you saw any of the news about it, Yangus, but just today there's an article that dropped from the head of Falcom. They've turned that from like a 30, 40 hour RPG into an 80-hour one.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
And they did say mainly it's everything's voiced. So all the stuff that you would just have on the PSP, like just scroll through boxes of text, it is all slowly voiced in cutscenes. They made the world much bigger, so walking takes longer, which already in that game it was big for when it was a pixel game, basically.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh geez, just what I need. Another trail. I'm not gonna replay a Trails game at like double the length that I've already done it.
Yeah, I might still pick it up, but oh boy, it's gonna take a long time then to get back to where I was before my Vita bricked up on me. So
that's true.
Even longer now.
Yeah, double. If you were 20 hours in, now you got to play 40 hours to get there.
Yeah, but I was gonna say with that Neptunia series, I think it was that series, if I remember right. I know earlier this year or late last year, like Nintendo had to full on be like, yeah, no, you're not releasing 3 of your games on our console because they were running at like 10 frames a second or something. Like absolutely.
At first the rumor was like, oh, are these games that like sexy, whatever, that they can't go on Nintendo? No, it wasn't that. It was just they sucked. They didn't run.
Yeah, Nintendo just flat out like, nope.
Those are just like Vita games and games that have been ported up through the years. How can you not make it work on a Switch?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how is this so poorly optimized?
Yep. Somebody just hit copy and paste and figured that's how you port things to the Switch. But it's not. All right, moving on with our questions. Have you all ever given a game or received a game on Steam? And do you have any games on your list with you got strong sentimental feelings attached to and good stories to go with your playthroughs of them? Start with you, Yangus.
Yeah, so for gifts, one that I was given was a cousin of mine knew that I was a fan of different fighting games, like especially like King of Fighters. And since he knew that one of them was getting re-released on Steam, since I told him about it, he actually gifted me a copy of, what was it? It was King of Fighters 98 Ultimate Match, which was like the online version of the game that kind of did a little bit of like glitch tweaking to prevent stuff from happening. But it was really cool of him to send me that. And it wasn't like a super expensive game when it came out with the re-release, but it was really cool that he sent me that with, just kind of unprompted. So I appreciated that a lot. I don't really remember too many that I gave. I want to say there was something that was on sale for $5 that I sent to a buddy of mine who was over, or at the time he was over in school in Illinois. So I'm like, he might get a kick out of this. So I'll send this to him. And that's when he ended up sending me the key then for Team Fortress 2 to play like basically at the full version of the game instead of just like the free to play one. So that was kind of a nice surprise. Then he sent me something to look back to. But as for the second question, I definitely have a ton of stories with Team Fortress 2 because that was just one of the games that I played the most. One of my favorites was the time where I think I was playing enough with the same buddy that I had sent the $5 game to. We were playing on a map together. I think it was 2 Fort, if I remember right. No, not 2 Fort. It was one of the ones where, like, as the red team, you have to defend the points from the blue team so they can't capture it. And it was one of the original maps where, like, there's the big rocket ship at the end on the final point that you have to try and defend. And I like to play sniper on those kind of maps. And I found, I don't know if I was just having a really good night or what, but anytime that you've killed a player enough times, the game does a little jingle where it's like, bah, 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 if you kill somebody enough times. And what happened, I started getting enough kills on people that the game was going, bah, 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 bah. I had like 6 or 7 people down as because my username at that time was Yangus on there, like Yangus Legendary Bandit. They were like, Yangus Legendary Bandit is your rival. It's the rival of blah, blah, blah. And my friend messaged me on the side through Steam's messaging system and was like, what the hell are you doing? Are you cheating or something? I'm like, no, dude, I swear doing anything. I'm just playing the game. Remember seeing in the chat somebody from the blue team being like, somebody's got to kill that stupid sniper. He won't let us pass. I did end up getting killed and we ended up losing the match, but it was one of those times where like I've just entered, like you enter that zen zone when you're playing a game where just all of a sudden everything is like playing out perfectly for you. And the second you realize it, you snap out of it. That's what I think basically happened. Mm-hmm. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff with Team Fortress 2, not just stuff like that, but like crazy shenanigans happening, or like if you play on certain servers, they have mods installed into the server. So like there was one that I played on that was basically Team Fortress 2, but with WarioWare style mini games where like you had 5 seconds to do different little actions, or like you had to get to the end of this obstacle course without getting hit by one of the baseballs flying at you. So ton of goofy stuff. But outside of Team Fortress 2 though, definitely one of the more interesting things that I remember from playing on Steam was that I played through all of the first Psychonauts game with nothing but keyboard and mouse controls, which, let me tell you, that was not a fun time. I still really enjoyed the game, but I was really getting frustrated quite a few times. And it wasn't until I finally got a plug-in like Xbox 360 controller that I played it again. I'm like, oh my God, this is so much better. Why did I not get one of these sooner? I was too lazy and cheap to go buy one. So finally I'm like, all right, fine, I should probably get one. Because let me tell you too, trying to play fighting games with keyboard controls, it's not easy to pull off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, with special moves, it's not easy to pull off. Sad part is that certain people you play that still beat you. When you told me you played with keyboard, they get pissed off. But yeah, so those were fun times, the keyboard days before I finally got a plug-in controller. But though with first-person shooters, I will say I definitely preferred using the keyboard and mouse controls. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah, that's all I got for. There's probably other stuff I could remember, but a lot of them would just be Team Fortress 2 stories, so I'm not going to bore the audience with that, since that's pretty much the only game I seem to be talking about. But anyway, Aust, let's hear from you. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, I've given and received gifts. I don't really know how to talk about that. It's just something that, happens on Steam with enough time. I don't remember which ones were gifts and which ones weren't. I only remember one of them. I remember giving Stardew Valley to my wife back. She wasn't my wife then, we were just dating, but buying that for her because it was when it had first came out. And that conveniently leads me into my good feelings portion of the question, which I would be talking about Stardew Valley when that first came out. I got it like on the second day of launch, something like that, the second or third day. And I just saw it on the front page. I wasn't looking for it or anything. And I had so much fun with that when that came out. I put 300 hours into it over the next probably 3 or 4 months on PC, because that was back before Stardew Valley kicked off the whole trend of doing farming games again. Back then, all you had was Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons, and neither one of those were anywhere what they were like back in the 90s and 2000s. So Stardew Valley was sort of like a return to form of the roots of that genre, but amplified to the max. And now it's almost a cliche to say like Stardew Valley is your favorite game because everybody says that, but I felt like I was getting in on it before everyone was really talking about it. And I just had a lot of fun talking about or going to the online communities and finding little Easter eggs and seeing what people were talking about. And back before, everyone knew everything about the game and how to optimize it. And also the game was a lot smaller back then because it didn't have a lot of the content updates it has now. Multiplayer.
Gosh,
Yeah.
All the stuff that's added to it, and since I played it, I played it well after you, and I think I played it like 4 years apart, and it was just a completely different game almost. So much time to do.
Yeah, anytime a friend of mine talks about something in the game, and I'm like, oh, that must be something new because I don't remember that, and they're like, well, it got added like 5 years ago, and I'm still thinking of 9 years ago when it came out. Oh my God, I can't believe it's been 9 years. But yeah. It didn't even have multiplayer when it launched. I think that came 2 years later. Maybe it was 1 year. I don't remember, but yeah, they've added so much stuff to that game, and you never had to pay for any of it except for the initial purchase.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's probably. I don't think I have. I mean, I've played a lot of Steam games, had a lot of fun with all of them, but I don't think I've had like good memories about any of them except for this one, because I've played it with my wife a lot. In the past 5 or 6 years. So
Nice. So I know gift wise, I got Fairy Fencer F and Rise of Nations Extended Edition from our old buddy Phil Yangus on RP Gamer, Phil Willis. Before I joined RP Gamer, he was on our Facebook group, the Turn-Based RPGs, and I remember he messaged me one day because he noticed I was from Florida, and we got to talk, and he's like, "You mind if I promote my podcast on there?" And within like 6 months of that message, he'd convinced me to join RP Gamer, and I was doing a Dragon Quest VII podcast with him, and it was 2018. Here we are 7 years later, and for the past 3.5 years, I've run his old podcast. He got out of podcasting and wanted to do Twitch streaming, and nowadays makes money with his hobbies because he does like online, ever since 2020, online DMing for groups, and gets paid to do that instead of just sit on our RP Gamer Twitch and not get anything from that. But yeah, back then I think he used to stream a little too, and I would watch some of his streams from time to time, and he'd be like me and maybe one or two other people, and he'd be like, I got a gift code for you tonight. So I know that's how I got Fairy Fencer F and Rise of Nations from him. But in terms of memories, like I said, man, my top almost every game on here has just been one that I've played for review for RB Gamer. I guess Cassette Beasts might be the one that I remember the most because I was having a hard time getting into it. I think the controls kind of sucked with the old controller I had a few years ago on my PC, and I'm like, gosh, I should have waited and got this on Switch, but that got delayed for a month, and I was like, I might as well just do it. So it got to the end of the school year, late May, and I was like, you know what? There was a day that I wasn't going to have many classes anyway, so I just took that off and sat on the PC and forced myself to play for 8 hours straight. And I really fell in love with that Cassette Beast game that day. That was like forcing myself to play it and getting pretty far into it. I'm like, oh, no, okay, this is good. I like Cassette Beasts. Good Pokemon clone. Had some good music in it, too. Something you may have never heard me say on a podcast before.
Yeah, I thought you muted all the games you played.
Yeah, right.
I did. Yep. But I mean, it was Cassette Beasts. I kind of had to, listen to something.
Yeah.
And then I got hooked into it because it takes place in like some altered area, and they got funny, weird versions of like 80s songs and stuff on there.
What you mean? You don't mute Guitar Hero?
Golly, I don't think I've played Guitar Hero.
Yeah, I don't think that was
2005. Maybe 2007. We're almost 20 years since that.
Isn't that Cassette Beast? Isn't that the one where what was I'm thinking of? Where it's like certain bosses you come across are like just these weird, like different animation styles.
They did different styles with a lot of different bosses. Yeah.
Because I remember, it's been a while since I've seen anything about it, but I remember like one of them looks like it's made like out of clay. One of them looks like it's like a paper mache model. Mm-hmm. One looks like it's kind of like veering in and out of reality or something crazy like that.
Oh, there was one that was hard to look at. It was like, oh, what are you doing to the graphics on the screen? That it was like glitchy, and I think you fought that one in a subway. That was one of the bosses. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they went hog wild on the bosses. It was really cool. What I liked about that game is, like Dragon Quest, you could, you breed your monsters together. Well, in this one, since they were cassette tapes, you like put their cassette tapes, played them at the same time or whatever, and you'd get, it happened in battle. You didn't get them permanently, but if you had like these two monsters and you pulled them out at the same time or use their special move at the same time, they would combine into a monster. And I want to say there was like 120 monsters in the game, which gave it 14,400 combinations. And I think the starters, or the 4 or 5 most popular, they actually drew out what those like maybe 20 combinations would look like. Everything else was like, I guess now we'd call it AI, but a procedurally generated combination of the two sprites.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 14,000 of those suckers. You want to see them all? It would have. I'd still be playing that game years later.
Gotta see them all. Cassette piece.
I don't remember buying this, but
Add that to Morto's. Where did that come from? Maybe
Yeah,
you heard me
well.
talk about it. It's a fun little game. It doesn't take long.
when I was going through the list, picking out games like for the what the WTF category,
what
I was.
the fuck? What? No,
For the
we said we're not talking about those games, man.
Yeah. No, I only picked out ones I didn't recognize the names of, and I recognize the name of this one, but now that I think about it, I don't remember buying it.
Maybe it came in a non-Pokemon Humble Bundle.
Oh, he wants the Pokemon right now. All right, I'll tell you what.
I probably got it because
boy.
I like Monster Tamers, but
Mhm.
got
All right, so Yangus, you got another question for us?
Yes, I do. All right. So this one might be a little bit longer of a question. What are 3 games in your Steam library that you highly recommend for all gamers out there? And what are 3 that you recommend people keep far away from? We got you up first. So tell us what your 3 good and 3 bad are.
Okay, 3 good. Well, I've already talked about Stardew Valley, and everybody knows about that game anyway. So definitely Stellaris. I've talked about that. I've talked about that on Sidequest before, I think. It's honestly, it's like my favorite 4X real-time strategy game now. It's beat out Civ. It's honestly, I don't know. It fits. I like the theme. The systems are very deep. It's very challenging. Even before it's developed by Paradox Interactive, even before they went and made that Stellaris clone that's with the Star Trek theme, even before that, playing Stellaris, you can tell that they've got a lot of. They draw from a lot of sci-fi IP, but there's definitely a lot of Star Trek in there too, and that's something I always like. The wonder, the whole wonder of like exploration and discovering different parts of the galaxy is it really, like, they've got so many little story beats packed in there. It really does. It takes a while to have seen it all, which is surprising for this type of game. And by story beats, I just mean like, you like excavate a planet and you find out what happened there, and it has little text blurbs that tells you what you find out and stuff. And some of it's like, if you like sci-fi, it's really interesting. It's really interesting to read. But yeah, I could talk about Stellaris forever. Next recommendation would be Volgar the Viking. And I first played this game probably, what year is this? So 12 years ago. I don't remember where I got it or how, but it's one that I've played a lot since then. It's like an arcade style game in difficulty. Very much you have to memorize the levels and like where enemies appear. It's probably most reminiscent of Ghosts and Goblins. If you've ever played any of those games, 2D side scroller action. I don't know why I enjoyed it so much. It's just challenging, I guess, and wanted to see how far I could get. And then, that whole feeling of appreciation when you make it farther in the level than you have before, or God forbid you even make it to level 2. Like that was a big milestone. If you beat like the first 2 levels, then when you start the game again, you can just like walk backwards and exit the first level immediately to go to the point you played the farthest. So because of that, I can't play this on any other platform. If I ever want to play this game, I have to play it on PC where my save file is, because it is too hard to start over. It's probably one of those games that, like, if I weren't already interested in it, there's no way I'd pick it up now because I just don't have the time to play that. Like, who wants to play a game that's that difficult? But when getting into it, when I did, I don't know why, it latched onto it. And if you like that type of arcadey style game, you would definitely like this. And I was going to mention RetroArch, but I already mentioned that earlier. There's really too many games to choose just 3. There's like I could talk about nostalgia, which for people listening to this, they would like it. It's definitely like a Dragon Warrior style inspired MMO. Looks a lot like Dragon Warrior, and it's a lot more in depth the mechanics are than that, but it feels sort of like it too. I'd recommend you look it up at least. Yeah, I'm gonna end it there because I was gonna mention a bunch of other games. But I know if I start mentioning titles, I'll want to say something about them. But like Crosscode, I should have talked about Crosscode.
I've heard about that one. I've heard that's pretty good.
It's really good. It's really fun. It's the writing is great.
Is it an action RPG or is it more of a turn-based RPG?
It's not turn-based. It's action RPG, which I generally don't like. But the combat mechanics are pretty deep as far as like how you can specialize and stuff. And
okay,
yeah. And the story was what grabbed me with that though. 3 bad. I forgot. Yeah, you want 3 bad ones. Well, Mighty Number 9, because I think everyone knows that game is bad. I don't even know why I bought it, because it's not like I backed it on Kickstarter or whatever that crowdfunding was for that. I like Mega Man X and stuff, and that's probably why. But yeah, if you're wanting that type of game on PC, I recommend something like 20XX, which is a sort of a roguelike version of Mega Man style game. That's really fun. Ukulele. So I got that game because I really like 3D platformers, and I never played Banjo-Kazooie, which is what this is basically a spiritual successor for. But the camera controls were pretty bad when I played it. I don't know if it's changed since then. So I had like a lot of difficulty sticking with that game. There's so many games I could pick if I could remember them all. Like I'm scrolling through, I'm trying to like which one is worse. But yeah, so Gone Home is the other one I wrote down because it felt like a big bait and switch game. It turns out it's like a I guess people derisively call them walking simulators, where you just sort of walk through a map and experience the story happening to you.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of games. Okay.
Yeah. There are some very light puzzle elements, but I hesitate to call it that. You're really just like picking up objects and finding out what's going on with the story, which, you know, if you saw this game and you were wanting to play it for the story, then that might be enough. But the marketing around it, at least the way I bought it, it sort of implied that there was like something paranormal going on and there was a big mystery with this house that was abandoned. And it really wasn't that. It was about someone coming home and their sister having run off to be with like their girlfriend or someone they fell in love with. It was, I don't know. It was not what I was expecting. And I think a lot of people had that problem as well.
Yeah.
And it was like $15 or $20.
Oh, the pricey game then.
Yeah. That was part of it.
Oh, jeez.
Not worth that, huh?
Not for me.
All right, well, I don't have as much to say. I have enjoyed some games and really hated others, but I would say my 3 good ones, definitely Zeboyd Games, Cthulhu Saves Christmas. That has, I think that's my favorite game that they did. They set it up almost like a miniature version of Persona, where you had like, you go into one dungeon and then you have relationship time for a day. Although it's their brand of humor, and you know you're hanging out with all these different Christmas people from around the world. Trying to think of like, oh gosh, I mean you've got Santa. I think the point is Cthulhu's trying to save Santa, but I don't know. I don't remember. There's the chicken one. There's some chicken. Oh, this is really good stuff. As I Google the different ones, you've got Krampus. You've got the deep one. You've got Father Dagon and Mother Hydra. So it's all different antagonists from the League of Christmas Evil. And they've kidnapped Santa, and as Cthulhu, you have to save him. And it's a prequel, I think. At the end, it's a prequel to Cthulhu Saves the World. And it was just really good. I love Cassette Beasts. I already talked about that. Good Pokemon kind of clone where you can combine stuff. And the other good one I really enjoyed was Infinite Adventures. I talked about the indie Etrian Odyssey type game. that was pretty fun. Some bad ones, and these are all ones that either I played or I'll start with. I played RPG Golf. I bought this for 99 cents because I was going to review the sequel on Switch, and I was like, oh, I'll play the first one. It was crap. It's not really RPG. Not very RPG. I think I got to the second boss, and I'm like, this sucks. Wasn't a huge fan of the sequel that I played on Switch either. I think I gave it like a 3. It was at least playable. This one I stopped after an hour and a half. The very first game I reviewed on RP Gamer was called The Greater Good. It was a weird indie kind of side-scrolling turn-based thing that had deep political, you're fighting for in a desolated world against these people, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I lost track of the plot very quickly, and the side-scrolling odd art style of it all just kind of threw me for a loop. And recently I played, I think it just says April or May, I played another game called Creature Keeper. And wow, what an interesting ride that was. I got the game maybe like 6 weeks before release. The amount of work that was put into that game in the last 6 weeks, I felt like I logged on maybe once or twice a week to play it, and I purposely kept waiting because I was like, this game isn't even ready. I can't review it now. It's a piece of crap. And things changed. Like, I, through my editor, messaged them and was asking about some stuff. They're like, oh yeah, don't click that button. That's going away soon. It's not done. I'm like, why would they send this out for review in this state? All I can say is I played it and it was a hot mess. Had some good ideas, but the creature AI was weird, and yeah, there was a lot of glitches and stuff. Probably better nowadays, 4 months after release, but it was a rough thing to try to play before release. I do not recommend. 0 out of 10, maybe 1 out of 10. Yangus, I'll turn our lists over to you.
Yeah, well, I'll just go ahead and say it again since I've said it 50,000 times tonight already, but Team Fortress 2, good choice. It's free to play.
Shocked.
I know, right? It's it's the only reason I really played Steam to begin with, but that's a good choice for something, whether you're big on first-person shooters or if you're like me and you're really only like certain ones, this could be the one that you play and you're like, I like this. This is fun.
No, but, yeah, I remember when that game was in its heyday and everybody was playing it. So yeah, it's definitely one of the best games on Steam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would I don't have a ton of nostalgia for all of Valve's stuff, but I mean, even stuff like Half-Life 2, I think that still plays pretty well, and Portal 1 and 2, those are good games as well if you never played those. If you have a Switch as well, you can play 1 and 2 on there with the collection that they have. Otherwise, I would say the original Psychonauts is actually really good to play on Steam. I would say, honestly, that's probably the best way to play it nowadays, other than if you can play it on the original Xbox where it was actually made for that hardware. Because if you try and play the PS2 version, it runs okay, but even with even on the original hardware, it did not run the best. And if you try and emulate it through the PlayStation 4 network, if you buy that digital version of it, it kind of runs okay, but it has a lot of issues with that one too. But definitely recommend Psychonauts. That's a really good platformer game by folks who used to work at LucasArts. It was one of the first big products by Double Fine, and a lot of that same humor you would find in LucasArts games really plays out well in Psychonauts 2. A lot of good writing and characters. For a third game, I would, honestly, I'd recommend anything that has a solid rollback netcode. I didn't really play too many games that had rollback netcode at the time, just because of where the landscape was at with online play for games, or fighting games especially. But I do know from other buddies that rollback netcode for fighting games online is really good. So if you enjoy a fighting game, whether you want to play with friends or if you're someone that wants to try and take on other people, I would recommend just about anything that does actually feature rollback netcode. And if you're looking for something in particular from a recommendation, you can't go wrong with the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection that came out late last year. Definitely grab it while you can too, before it ends up disappearing, because with the whole Marvel licensing deal thing, who knows when that game could just suddenly get pulled, without a moment's notice. Anyway, though, for the bad, I really don't remember a whole lot of games on Steam that I had an absolutely terrible time with. Even the one that I mentioned earlier, The Wizard, one I played for 15 minutes. But it wasn't because the game itself was bad. It was just more like, oh, this is not for me. But I will give a special mention to anything that required a Microsoft account to play it. Maybe you've run into this. I forget what exactly it was called, but there were certain games where if you tried to boot them up and start playing them on Steam, you would get taken to a prompt where it's like, you need to set up a Microsoft account. Like it would take you to like a Microsoft website. And
Games for Windows Live?
Thank you. That's what it was called. Games for Windows Live.
Yeah.
So I ran into this the first time because I didn't even know this even was a thing on Steam. Like I had bought in Street Fighter 4. It was like for one of the versions of Street Fighter 4, where it was like one of those like $3 or $4 deals for the game. And I was excited because I'm like, okay, I'll play it on here. And there's some of the new characters are available now at this point. Blah, blah. I try and start the game up, and it immediately pops up with like that Windows Live thing, and I'm like, this is a Capcom game though. Why is it asking for a Microsoft Windows Live thing? What? So I eventually find a way to get around that, and I start playing the game. And I don't know if it was because of Windows Live or just my laptop settings or what, but basically the matches would start, and it would only run at about like 0.25 the normal speed a game should have gone.
Oh,
Like you'd hear the audio and like the music and stuff playing, but like the animations were like, it's like if you're watching like a stop motion film, but you're getting to see the frame by frame movements. It was not good. I could not last for very long. And then I started looking through some of my other games and found ones that also had the Windows Live thing. And it's like, ah, shit. Okay, well, I got to be more careful buying games on here now, I guess. So, I don't know if that's still a problem nowadays or not. I know Denuvo is another one that's a really big like red flag for people that get games on Steam. So
Yeah, Games for Windows Live shut down.
That's gone now.
Yeah, but I mean they still some games require Microsoft logins, but it's better.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean there's tons of things like that, like Ubisoft, Uplay, and which may actually be gone now. I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully stuff like this will eventually. I mean, it's probably going to keep happening regardless of what time and day we're in now. But I would definitely say, like, if you're someone that doesn't play a whole lot of games on PC, take the advice of somebody who ran into that issue without knowing it. Just take a look to see if a game's going to have some sort of background, like thing like Denuvo or anything like that, because it could potentially affect what you're doing. So, but yeah, I don't really have too much else for bad, so I think that's it for me. So, Platty, we got anything else for us?
all right. We should be here to our final kind of game talk. We've had some interesting games. We've had, obviously, just now we talked about the good and the bad. So, final question time. What was the last Steam game you purchased, and what do you think your Steam library says about you? I'll take this first right here. I recently purchased Yakuza Like a Dragon because I have tried to play that on PS4 when it came out. I enjoyed it. I played like 4 hours, but the PS4 was hooked up to the TV in the living room, and having the Yakuza people screaming and cussing and shooting each other didn't work as good. Sitting with the kids around and whatever. They're older now, getting into middle school age, and they don't go to bed at 7:30 anymore. So I would be sitting there starting Yakuza at, I don't know, 9:30 at night, and then there'd be a 20-minute cutscene, and I'd be gone. So playing that on the PS4 back in the day, 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it came out, just never happened. And I saw it on sale on Steam for the summer game sale. $10, I think I paid for it. And I was like, you know what? I do want to play this. I've got my den now. Okay, play it on PC, easier to put headphones on, and just do it in here, shut the door at night when they're doing their own thing. And I'm excited to try to play it. Like I said, I've never played a game on Steam for more than 4 hours, and only one for even more than an hour that wasn't for RP Gamer. So I would like to give that a go. In terms of what my library says, like I said, I got about 120-ish hours on there, and they're all turn-based RPGs. Everyone. So it says I don't play much on PC, and when I do, it's because I'm reviewing a game for RP Gamer, and I usually just pick the turn-based ones. That is what my library says about me. Yangus, what about you? What is yours? How does yours speak to us?
Well, I would probably say the most, I kind of mentioned it, was kind of alluding to it earlier, but I'd say probably the most recent purchase that I had back when I still actually used Steam was when I got the King of Fighters 13 Steam Edition. It's the last thing that I remember buying at any rate, so I'm just going to assume that was probably the last one that I got, or one of the last games I got on there. Mainly I got it because I really enjoyed KOF 13, playing it on my Xbox 360. Couldn't really access some of the features of the game because I was playing offline. I didn't have the Xbox Live connection thing, whatever. But it released at I want to say it was $20 or so, and since that's about the price that I paid when I bought my physical copy for my Xbox, it was you know what, I'm willing to pay another $20 to get a digital copy of this one. And the game ran fine and included the 3 DLC characters and a few little balance patches and stuff. I played a little bit of the online. Wasn't the greatest connection and stuff, but it was fun messing around with that and just getting to play some of the new content that I wasn't able to before, and just kind of playing through the game again with different characters and such. But let's see, as for what the library says, probably it's more well, you only really played one thing, so there's not much to talk about here. But it definitely had a diverse selection of games, because I had some puzzle ones. I didn't really have too many RPGs since I had so many on my 3DS. I didn't really play much RPGs on that. But I had a few shooters, I had puzzles, I had little adventure ones, had a few fighting games. So kind of a mixed bag of selection of stuff, which honestly kind of fits with my selection of games that I have outside of Steam as well, which is just kind of a mixture of different genres, except for the few that I actually don't really care for that much. But yeah, so pretty accurate.
And
what about you, Aust?
Yeah, I had to check my transactions in Steam, in my Steam account, and apparently the last things I bought were Lego Brick Tales, Star Trek Resurgence, and the new Stellaris DLC. Because I usually try to keep on top of getting Stellaris DLC when it's on sale or when a new big one comes out. Because even if I'm not currently playing Stellaris, I know I'm going to again. And I like to have all of the content for it. And if I try to keep on top of it with sales, because good Lord, there's so many of them, and you can easily spend a lot of money on DLC for that game. But yeah, I got Lego Brick Tales because it looks like a game my son would like, and we have Steam family sharing set up now. So any game I own, he can install on his PC and play. And it was on sale, so I grabbed it. And Star Trek Resurgence was... I can't remember how much I paid for that, because I have that game on Xbox because I wanted a disc-based version. Mm-hmm. And now I'm wondering why. I may have just bought it on Steam because I could play it on the Steam Deck and actually have time to get to it. Because I haven't been able to play it on Xbox because it's just, just sitting down in front on the couch just to play a game nowadays is not the easiest thing to do.
Yep. Nope. I get it. Once we have kids, it's...
Oh, yeah, it was $8. That's why I got it. So yeah, I'm grabbing games on sale and stuff all the time. And I do and some of these, I'm looking at my list, and I do get to play at least 30 minutes to an hour occasionally on some of these. And then I don't sink a lot of time into them like I used to get to with games. So that's why it feels like I never play the games I buy. But yeah, so which leads me to the next part of the question is, what does my library say? And it says, I believe in supporting developers by buying their games, just not by playing them. Although I don't know how much support you give when you buy most things on sale. Because I know that's not really where they make any of their money.
To the contrary, I've heard the Zeboid guys talk before. I think RPG Fan interviewed them once. And we're asking, they're like, your games go on sale every now and then for $1 or $2. And they're like, oh yeah, those are great weekends. We'll sell 10,000 games and that weekend, and just because it's there.
Yeah, so. I mean there are a lot of people now
that's two people making games, and they only need to make enough money for two people. So Yeah,
if somebody is even vaguely interested in your genre and your game is on sale for $1 and the reviews aren't garbage, people will pick it up, Yep.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So that's it for our Steamy talk this episode. Thank you, Yangus and Aust, for joining me tonight, being able to make it when the rest of the soldiers have fallen.
You're loyal.
Responds. I think we all need to say big thanks to our buddy Gabe Newell for making this podcast possible. Thanks, Gabe.
Thanks, Gabe.
Thanks, Gabe.
As I like, yes. As I like to remind people often, we don't crowdsource or dynamically insert ads that you all don't give two shits about. We're grown-ass adults that like to talk about video games and other topics we enjoy, and we don't need $1 of your money to do so. Besides, there's Steam games out there for $1. Buy them. Or if you'd like to contribute to some Dragon Quest fandom, feel free to head to the Dragon's Den and donate some money to Woodus, who's paid to keep those lights on for decades. Or use one of his affiliate links. You could buy Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D right now. You could pre-order Dragon Quest 1 and 2, the HD 2D coming up in October. Or, pretty much quite everything or anything on Amazon. You start clicking on his affiliate link and then buy something, he'll get like 3 cents from it. So help out Woodus.
Yes. Let's see. Or you can check the links in the show notes to buy our Slime Time t-shirt. Ooh. Thanks, Gabe.
Thanks, Gabe. And for everybody else out there, bye, everybody.
Side quest complete. Thanks, Gabe.
Good eve, MattCraft coming at you from his car, as usual, right? So, we're all going off about our Steam libraries. I've had mine since, 2009, and even then I had an older account than that just had the orange box and a couple of the things on it before it was stolen, but I digress. We're going off of a few things with it. Going from how many games we have our total and the first games and everything else. My first game that I actually got with my account was technically Killing Floor, a tactical based shooter, kind of neat. Went crappy after the second one. There's 3 now. So beyond that, I have over 200 games. I don't normally keep a PC though, so my Steam account is kind of dormant. I had one last year, so I bought a few new games like Cyberpunk and some other junk, but now that I can play that off of live, I just kind of roll with that. I can tell you now though that I've only played about 35% of my library. A majority of the games I got were from Humble Bundles back in the day when they sell like 20 games for $5. It was great. That's where I've got most of my stuff from. But the game that I played the most off of Steam is Terraria. I have over 750 hours on that. It's one of the few games that I'm truly done with. I don't even want to pick it up again. I rage quitted that. But I have to say the most off-ball or off-brand for me games in my library are probably going to be Gotham City Heroes from back in the day, where kind of a first-person shooter. You played as a villain wannabe who was a hero, shooting random weapons and all that crap because Batman's out of the picture. It was pretty neat. Started on the Xbox, ended up on the PC. Off-brand for me though, no one would ever think I would play games like Audio Surf, where kind of like Guitar Hero, but with your own music. And Lord, now that I think about it, a couple of the games on my list that I just kind of go, what, when I look at it? One of them is World of Goo. It's this really, really weird, just in general, crazy, weird physics-based game where you're literally just a thing of goo. And then one of the games that I'm never going to play, there's one on there that's just hyper-generic dungeon crawler wannabe. It's called Heroine's Quest. I don't even remember buying it. I'm certainly never going to play it. It's just weird to me. Now, as far as gifts go, for Steam, usually at the end of the year, I'll grab a few cheap games and give them out to friends. But I remember one year, I got copies of not the newest re-release, but the last one of Yeast Offenfeldana, and I gave that out to like maybe 5 or 6 people I knew. It cost me over $100 doing it too. It's just an old game series that I really liked, and Felgana was just a good choice in my opinion. And memories. Whew. Someone gifted me a copy of One Way Heroics, the original one. I had no idea how to play it. And then I decided to be a complete dick and do Cheat Engine. I played that game until I dropped that night. Didn't play it much after that. I did eventually get the remake that came out, just for the sake of it, but that's just one of the more memorable gifts I've gotten on there. There's also a couple of top-down RPGs that a good friend of mine got me. Avendon, the Black Gate or something like that. It's kind of like Baldur's Gate, tactical-based, squad-based RPG. And a few others. I'd have to look through my list again, and I don't have that on hand, so that's what I went for. Now, as far as a few good games that I'm going to recommend off of my list, Dungeons & Dragons Shadow of a Mystara. It's an arcade port. It's really good. Includes 2 separate games. You can pick up and play it today just like you can at the old pizza place near your house. It's hack and slash, plays like the old school Final Fights if you want to think about it that way, and it's marvelous. Get you a Sword of Legends and kill some shit. Legend of Dungeon is more of a personal love. It's a super retro style RPG, kind of like, what do you call it, Atari based. But it's still really good. I liked it. That hasn't been updated in a while because it's technically finished. And then Dungeons of Dreadmore, which is an old school Diablo clone with so much humor you would never believe it. Get you a diggle and become a diggle lifter. And watch out for the loot fist. Gets nasty. As far as bad, honestly, I really did not like the Half-Life games. I don't think they really aged that well. I'm very picky about my shooters, so I gotta watch out for them. Left 4 Dead, though, I was listening to a couple other guys talk about that. That's really never been my cup of tea either, so that's just really what I go for. Now, as far as the last Steam games that I purchased, the last one that I purchased was Cyberpunk 2077, actually. That was the one on my list that I had for my December purchase, so that's the last one that I purchased. Now, as far as my Steam library saying to me about a gamer, Dungeons of Dreadmore. Look at my profile. It's Dungeons of Dreadmore, has the background and everything else in it. Go to the realm of the Diggle Gods and enjoy it. In conclusion, eventually, I'm going to get Dragon Quest HD 1 and 2 on my Steam library, probably 3 as well again. So, I'll have those, and we will continue to have fun. Have a good night.